2026 Monteagle City Council meeting. We'll start with the prayer, please.
Pray. Father, again this afternoon, we thank you for the many pleasures we enjoy. We thank you for your provision for our lives, and we thank you for Monteagle. We thank you for a place to live such as this, and we want to commit and commend to you those that are looking after us and watching the streets and the various situations they face, and the EMS and the firemen and all that they have to endure at these various situations they face. We commit them to you, Father, and ask your blessing on their judgment and their calls, and we just pray that you watch over them, care for them. Bless us as we look into the government of the city this evening, continuing to strive to do that is what's best for all of us, and we just commit our way to you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge to our nation's flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Very significant to make this in the
What?
same too.
Oh, here, present.
Here. 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 They just have to. You've received in your packets approval of the minutes. Okay, let's do. Let's do the public hearing of April 27th. That was held at 4:45. That was a public hearing to amend the requirements of the sections 1005, 6, and 1202. Those were the checklist items for the site plans. So is there a motion to accept those minutes as submitted?
I'll make such a motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any additions or corrections? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next set of minutes, the city meeting of April 27th, 2026. Is there a motion to accept those minutes as submitted?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting as written.
Thank you.
The
Is
last
there-
city meeting,
City meeting of
Yeah,
April
okay.
27th.
is there discussion on that?
Gotcha. Is there a second to the motion?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Second.
Thank you. Is there discussion or correction on the minutes?
Yeah, well, I had to, on number 11, committees and community projects, B, tourism and events, it says back audit plan to assess infrastructure. My brain doesn't comprehend that, and I need to be educated on that.
Bike audit plan to...
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I've got the long version.
Okay.
I want that.
Okay.
But
That's-
I didn't even see that, so I don't know.
Ivan, Michelle, that's your initiative, is it not? Bike audit?
Yes.
It is, it's next, no, it got moved to sometime in June. It's a...
Oh, what they had last year on the
Well,
poker run or something.
No, they're doing an audit, or there's some group that's meeting to talk about what kind of
Okay,
improvements
okay.
they can make.
Okay, that's fine.
It's not a financial audit or anything like that.
Okay, I was looking at a monetary audit, what, and I thought, I don't remember. That's
So are
all.
we okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any other additions or corrections as submitted? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The minutes are approved. Any other minutes?
Yeah, workshops.
Workshop minutes were submitted all at once. Obviously, as you know, workshops, we can't take action, but we've had workshops May 4th, 11th, and 18th, I believe.
18th, yes.
Yes. So is there a motion to approve those minutes as submitted?
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes for the workshops.
Thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any additions or corrections? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Those are approved. Any other minutes? Okay. Citizens' comments. Any citizen wish to be heard at this time? That just gives me more time. The mayor's communications. A couple of things. First of all, TDEC has sent me an email preparing us for a drought. They think that we're in a drought cycle, and they sent an email to start getting prepared. Our local drought committee of Big Creek, Tracy, Monteagle, and Swanee will be meeting this week to review the plans that have been approved that we've submitted to TDEC. That we have a drought plan with certain actions to be taken at certain levels of the drought phase. So we're meeting, we're working on those right now. Nothing is a problem. Water seems to be gushing over the spillways, but we've had, I understand, 5 to 6 inches of rain in the past weekend, but that is not expected to continue. So we'll be watching the drought situation. TDEC will be sending us what they're calling their drought monitor plan. So whatever information we get, obviously we'll pass on to you. Just as a point of information, I'm appointing Nate Wilson to be my designee on the Planning Commission. I'll still be attending, I'll still be here. It doesn't mean I'm not interested, but due to time crunch and some other personal issues, it's best that Nate be here to continue the Imagine Monteagle process and whatever else comes up. So just for information, I'm passing that on to you. Fresh Mess starts June 4th and runs through October 1st, 3 to 6 p.m. on Thursdays. Weather is always a variable, so we'll try to get word out if they're going to have it or not have it if there's a rain delay. So I think that concludes, oh no, there's one more, and this is pretty serious because the gentleman sounded serious. We have different services that help maintain our convenience center. Marion County picks up the compactor. Franklin County picks up, I believe, cardboard and plastics. Grundy County picks up the open top containers and the metal and things like that. So we have 3 or 4 entities dealing with it. The biggest problem we have now seems to be in plastics. People are throwing plastic bags in there filled with diapers and other assorted bathroom items that their crews are not going to sort out. And I don't want to see the plastic bin removed, but it's up to Franklin County. If there are violations of that dumpster, they may well remove their dumpster. It doesn't say much for recycling, but it's their call. It's their service that they provide, and they're doing it for us without charge. So please spread the word. I'll be putting it on the website, Facebook, and the Master Blast. But plastic is 1 and 2 plastic only in the plastic containers or bins or whatever. Cardboard has to be broken down and put in the cardboard bins. If you're not sure what to do, ask an attendant, or it can go in the compactor, which is basic household trash and certain items that don't meet cardboard and plastic specifications. But plastic bags filled with things won't be accepted or tolerated in the plastic dumpster. So if we could spread that word to whoever gets over there. I'd hate to see services decrease because a few citizens can't follow the guidelines. So please pay attention to that, and I'll be putting that word out as well. That's all. Well, the next meeting will be June 29th. The Planning Commission meeting will be June 3rd. And I think that's all we have scheduled so far. We're still planning workshops. And we'll post the agendas as I get information, starting with June 1st. It'll be almost every month as the calendar allows, so we'll be doing that. There are some hands. Yes?
For trash that our convenience center doesn't handle, mattresses, tires, does Joyce Lane take those if you drive them down there?
Does who have the?
The place on Joyce Lane where they take
Yes,
paint?
Joyce Lane takes electronics, tires, paints, and other items. It's on their website as to what they take. Sometimes they post it in the messenger towards the back page what they take. But we're supposed to take only household trash for the compactor, and then some stuff. We've had mattresses, unfortunately. We've had couches, unfortunately, that we're stuck handling, and they go in what we call the open top, and Grundy County picks that up. But they've raised issues a few times, and we seem to have controlled it a little bit better. Now we're dealing with plastics. But yes, and if you're not sure, which I did this morning, just call the local agency that governs. Franklin County Recycle does the cardboard boxes and plastic. Grundy County does the open top, and the metals is that CFC, which is metal recycling only. That's why the sign says metals only there. And maybe we need some signage for people that are coming in that are new to the area, but we hope that the residents that know won't take advantage of the situation in a bad way. Does that answer it? Martha Ann, did you have a question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mayor, question?
Yes.
I was out there this morning and Philip was pushing the plastic, that bin was full, and he was
Yes.
breaking it to the back, trying to create more space.
Yes.
So people are using it for something, and various things apparently. But is there anything we need to consider about maybe relocating that closer to where the employees are, or probably not, because I was out there a week or two ago after you had sent the email about the sofa, and right on top was a huge sofa and a mattress. And I thought, surely that was close enough to the building that we should have caught that and advised them not to do that.
Well, yes, if that happens when they're there. Sometimes we've found stuff on the other side of the gate, and
Well,
we've
this
had
was
to
up
move
in
it.
the open top.
Well, we may have put it there, I don't know who put it there,
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
all I'm saying is if there's some stuff left off hours, we're stuck moving that too, and that's why, the reason I'm going through all this, I don't want it to be a burden down the road where we either cut hours back or eliminate it altogether,
Yeah.
because the rest of the county is having similar issues, but they're very limited in day and time.
Okay.
So I just want to pass that on. Okay, reports of committees, police department?
Good evening. We had 72 traffic stops last month. Out of that, 33 were citations, 39 were warnings. We had 364 calls of service. Some of those included a theft, aggravated assault, 2 domestic calls, 4 were drug related, and 1 trespass.
All right, any questions on the police report? Is that in your packet?
I didn't get it.
Oh, I got it. I think I, well, any questions on the police report? All right, I will say this, I had occasion to be at Monteagle Elementary, and the principal who could not attend tonight, Dr. Horton, was very pleased and very congratulatory of the police department and the work that you did at their bazaar or fair, whatever they had. She said you all were very attentive, very responsive, and were just a big help all around. So she wanted me to express that tonight.
Oh, thanks.
So please pass that word on. It was well noted and appreciated. Okay.
Actually, one question.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Can I have a copy of that? 'Cause I didn't get one.
Is there any update on the fellow that was reported missing, that was on his way to Swanee and everything? I know they had a big search out for him. Is there any update on that?
We've had a couple, no real update, so all we know at this time is he's missing. He is possibly suicidal. But from there, we haven't been able to, we're still working on it. It's still under investigation, but there's no new updates for it.
Okay, so I know Franklin County had a whole crew out, you guys may have been with it, had a whole crew out searching back in.
So we headed everything up, talking with Franklin County and Swanee because it started in our jurisdiction. They both assisted us with whatever we needed, so we've all worked together on that matter, and we continue to work together on it.
Okay, and just so everybody's clear, we don't feel like this person is a threat to others, he's more of a threat to himself?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Fire department?
Good evening.
Good evening.
So 50 total calls, 30 of those calls were fire, 20 is EMR calls, medical calls for the month. Members, I lose my place on the first line. Members have been working doing station maintenance and apparatus maintenance. Fire and EMR members had a landing zone class here at City Hall. I believe it was last week or week before. We have hosted it for 4 other fire departments to come into the training. Life Force actually landed over behind the library. It was pretty successful for everyone. Teaches them the landing zones, landing zone safeties and stuff like that. Patient care going to the helicopter, and pretty interesting class. The guys and gals are continuing to paint and service the fire hydrants as weather permits. I've had, I don't know, what, about 20 that has been painted. 1 or 2 we've looked into the interiors of, and we have a couple more that we want to take apart and look on the interiors of. There's a few that we'll probably get the water department to help us with, and they need changed out with isolator valves and stuff, so that's underway.
Good.
The EMR program continues. We've remained pretty busy in doing so, but the numbers, the call volume's almost doubled. You know, we're 30 fire calls and 20 medical calls, and I kind of forecasted that. I knew it was going to. The good thing is each call, we average about 4 minutes in response to getting a first responder on scene for a medical call.
Wow.
So I think that's awesome. I mean, just
great.
to be there for the public. You know, the police is just as active as us. I mean, they try to respond and come to us for medical and stand by with us. So it's been a successful program so far. We're just watching it and watching the numbers. The one thing that I'm trying to do internal is the volunteer pay, right? So AJ and I is on shift during the day shift, the night shift that puts 2 people on call that has to respond to EMS calls. AJ usually picks up about 100% on the calls that he responds to. After 4 o'clock, AJ goes to volunteer salary, which is $15 a call. So it kind of works itself out internal, but I'm trying to do the numbers to figure out how much are we spending for volunteer salary just to get guys to respond to the call. So 2 guys for you know, an EMS call, that's $30. That's, to me, not terribly bad, but I just have to allow for that and shave the edges on the fire side. So anyway.
Travis, I'm sorry, real quick. Do we have that built into the budget that that's been going over the last couple
We do.
months?
I've kind of left it the same, but I'm trying to make it and manage the calls to tell them, you know, hey, we only need 2 guys to respond to that. I'm only going to pay 2 guys. I'm not paying 4 guys.
And that's not, there's no overtime with that, right?
No, absolutely not. We have 0 overtime in the fire department for myself and AJ as well.
So this past month, it was like the medical assist thing was like $900 then? You said there was 30 calls?
Roughly, should be depending on the staffing that responds to it.
Yeah, okay.
So-
But a minimum of 2, right?
The month before, like AJ said, so I'm a numbers guy and frugal as can be, so it averages $12.80 a call.
Okay.
That's what it averages the city to
Yeah,
pay.
because part of the daytime load
Right.
is already.
We're covered, our salaries is covered
Yeah.
during day shift, and I don't even
Well,
have to.
my point is, if we need to look at what Nate's brought up, or Nate, Grant's brought up on I apologize for that. We need to, you know, look at it tonight before we have first reading.
Your first reading,
Of the budget. So if we need to pull that out and look at it before, when we get to that item, I think the council fully supports that program, and we certainly don't need to know we're going to be short.
That's right.
On the budget. So
That's
that
right.
was all.
Well, thank you, and we can look in deeper, and right now it's like $12.80 a call, so as long as we can manage it, I think internally we should be fair on it.
Okay, thank you.
The shop finally called for the ladder truck. The ladder truck went in for a ladder test. They noticed there was a cylinder that had an issue. Everything, the rotation, the extend, retract, everything worked out on the ladder. He did have them pull that one cylinder off and send it back to hydraulics and said he's working on it. Once that hydraulic is put back on, which he said it should be a very quick process, it should be here. So, knock on that.
We gotta make sure, we're gonna name that thing Doreen, right?
Absolutely.
Assuming you keep her in the loop on that?
I don't want to hear it. She's retired. So the fire recovery, I'd like to talk about fire recovery because we'd actually gotten a claim from fire recovery last week. A check had come into fire recovery. So Interstate 24, this is my 27th year between Monteagle and Pelham Valley of working that interstate. Interstate 24 is a very bad place to be for an emergency responder. I understand it. Me and Mr. Lay's talked about it. Me and Mayor's talked about it. There's pros and cons of the interstate. So this fire recovery, basically, we deal with Monteagle is just, well known for the big trucks, of course, and we deal with them on the mountain quite frequently. I would say 20 calls a month has to do with tractor trailers. Fire recovery is a program, it's a third-party entity that we can communicate and submit our fire reports, our NERS reports, our narratives, any supplies and specialty items if we use for, like if there's a diesel leak, we may use booms, we may use pads or oil dry. We can actually put this all into a spreadsheet basically and submit it to this company, and then they chase their insurance companies to reimburse the fire department. So we're reimbursed under the prevailing, basically the prevailing wage settlement on the FEMA schedule. So, you know, fire chief makes a little bit more than the fire captain makes more than the firefighter. Then each one of our vehicles has got a price number that goes along with it, that's associated with it. So any length of time that we spend on these interstate calls with these tractor trailers, I mean, we're able to hopefully recover. Do they have to pay it? No, they don't have to pay anything, but 9 times out of 10, the insurance companies will pay. So this check that we had gotten on this, last go around was $1,400. We don't have that much invested in the call, right? So it's actually making us income. 3 more claims were submitted last week. We've got 1 claim in the process. That means it's a pending call, that they've got the paperwork done. They're getting ready to recover the expense of $1,700. That brings the total year to date to $9,665 that we've recovered off the interstate. So an all-time high from 2024 is when I enrolled in this program. You guys have accepted an ordinance for me to be able to enroll in it. We've recovered $26,269.
Wow.
So it's, I mean, it's paying for itself, right? We just have to do the paperwork. I only submit calls to the interstate, and I only submit calls to commercial vehicles. If mom and dad's family wrecks on the interstate, I don't feel like I'm just glad to be there to help them. I mean, that's their worst time of life, so why would you try to submit a claim for a recovery? You know, they need us. But anyway, that's billed directly to the insurance company by a third-party carrier. They continue it, they pursue it, they do recovery solutions, basically like the debt collectors. If they don't pay, they'll call them and keep I mean, I can log into a portal on the internet, and it'll tell me every time that their call takers is called to try to recover. I've got a whole record of every transaction that's been done between them. So anyway, that's the report on fire recovery.
Well, let me chime in on a couple of things. What Travis just explained is something that he had started back in '24. We had talked, he did all the research, did the negotiating, found a company that he could track their progress, and it's been obviously a very successful program. But I want you to realize that these are numbers set down by FEMA. If they say a gallon of foam costs so much, that's what they pay us for. They've got their own schedules. It's not that we make up numbers and tell them what we paid or what our expenses were. That's number one. Number two, these interstate fires, like most tragedies with automobiles, is not just putting out a fire or saying, well, it's okay, or it was a brake leak. There's also extrication that you all are qualified on. And from what I remember, you've pulled a few drivers out of a few cabs.
Absolutely.
So it's not just, let's put out the fire or see what's there. The service they provide is probably, well, a little prejudice, but second to none.
Thank you.
I don't know if Nashville does it any better than we do, quite frankly.
Well, we're held to the same
You've worked
standard.
on grants, you've got an equipment, kept up with the modern stuff instead of 20-year-old stuff that doesn't work anymore. So I'm sure I speak for the town and the alderman. Thank you for all that you've done in that department.
Thank you all for your support, all of you.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the fire side? Yes, sir.
You and I have talked several times, and I don't oppose what you do on the
Yes.
interstate. You and I have talked about the safety of the volunteers that are on the scene down there.
That's right.
And if you're in charge, is that an incident?
It's an incident command function.
Yeah, okay,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And the safety of you guys is paramount.
Absolutely.
And sometimes there's issues with TDOT and THP concerning when you're on certain situations down there.
That's right.
Are you comfortable with the authority you have in order, if you feel like a lane closure is necessary, or a shutdown of the interstate?
Yes.
You see in Nashville, they close the interstate every day
Yes.
for accidents. And I've been told up here that the TDOT guy in command says we're not closing the interstate.
So any kind of fire, and police can chime in on this, any kind of fire or wreck incident that involves any traffic function on the interstate, the command falls back to the fire commander. So if I throw a flag and say we're closing this interstate down, we may argue with the trooper, but I mean, that's the bottom line. There's actually a TCA code that specifies that.
Absolutely.
So you're comfortable with-
Absolutely.
with
So, and
where
I'm
that
not
is?
scared, I'll close in.
And I've asked you that
Yes,
several times, I'll
absolutely.
continue to do that.
That's right.
But it's just horrendous to think that it's a foggy day and 18-wheeler is wrecked down there and then another one runs off. Especially, it seems like westbound is to me, it seems like westbound is now the workload.
That's it.
Used to be,
Chattanooga side.
yeah,
Yes.
and again, I think part of that is that the rest area is closed and a lot of those trucks might pull over and use that as a brake check or safety check, and since that's closed, I think the accident rate is increased.
Absolutely.
And usually it's toward the foot of the mountain, I mean, so that tells you probably speed is a
Speed is
issue.
right.
Yeah, okay,
Absolutely.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the alderman or comments? Okay, you want to go into building and ordinance?
Yeah, I'm gonna skip that, I'll leave AJ for the code side. So the building inspection report, there's 7 residential permits were issued, 19 inspections I've done over the month, 2 permanent COs issued. There's 1 commercial business that's been documented, pending service for an abandoned or dilapidated structure. I'm working on it. I've gotten an anonymous complaint by email, or it wasn't a complaint as much as an inquiry. So I've looked into that and kind of working on all the paperwork for it. There's 1 residential property that had a temporary condemnation case that I previously reported to you guys that I've reopened, and I'm going to pen further action on it and probably move for a municipal hearing on it to condemn the property. So, questions on that? And then for the record, this hasn't been put on here. There's one more fellow that's living in a commercial building down at where Mike and Betsy's trailer's at. I'm sure I've had 3 people tell me that today. So I'm aware of that, and we'll look into that, take care of that. And
You want me to bring it up now?
absolutely, throw it out. I'm waiting.
Hate to be that guy, but the barbecue place over there is violating the ordinance, food truck ordinance, where they can only stay for 4 days and they have to leave the premises and come back. And apparently now they have grown roots and put up planters, and they've got signs and all kinds of stuff, and they've been there for well over a month or more.
They have, yes.
And I understand he may be moving from one side of the lot to the other, but that doesn't satisfy the code. So we do need to serve them, remind them, and if he pushes it off to the property owner, which is now the development company, then we need to send a letter to the property owner and say, if you want to make a food truck out of that lot, they're more than welcome to comply with the food truck lot requirements, but the barbecue place has to vacate for a period of time before they can come back. The other thing about that, now that you brought up the person that's kind of squatting in the building, if you don't have the food truck activity there, it's more noticeable that somebody is squatting in the building.
right.
So that could go on for a long time before anybody even notices. So it's just another reason to maybe push the barbecue place to follow the rules. We pushed the hibachi people out when we passed this ordinance, and we got to be fair with everybody. So
Yep.
they
So
need to be served.
Mr. Fletcher brought that up to me before the meeting, and I told him that I'd definitely go and move and look into it. I will say that we're talking about Mike and Betsy's barbecue. It's no secret. Both of them have been very reactive to comply to everything. They were actually the first group that came up and paid for our new food truck ordinance, and I'll talk to both of them and see if we can move it. I think Mike just sells from Thursday through Sunday, so it shouldn't be no problem to get him to move and comply.
Yeah, the planters are a little bit of an issue now for me.
You don't like them?
Well, no, I don't mind them, but that's kind of permanent.
I understand. And I'm going to touch on this just to get it off of AJ. So they're the vinyl signs that you see sticking up all over, right? We go through the city probably once a week and pull signs. And I don't discriminate. I believe in fairness and equality. If you put a sign out or my mother puts a sign out, I'm going to throw it in the dumpster. I'm not calling everybody. We have a sign ordinance. I throw your signs away. So there's that. There's Chapter 9 specifies that there's no off-premises signs that's allowed. That's all in a municipal ordinance. I bet I answer the phone 10 times a week of where's my sign, and I just flat out tell them I threw it in the garbage. I mean, that's the truth. So, the political signs has special effect. It's also noted in Chapter 9 of our sign ordinance. They're allowed to stay out for the duration of the election and a reasonable time allotment afterwards in a designated place, which is right over here on the intersection. We're aware that there's political signs out. We see them. So I just wanted to touch on that. questions on that?
Down to the bank, Tri-County Bank, where all of them are, is that?
Yes,
is
that's
that-
the Marion County side, so I just felt like.
Is that stated, or is that just a
That's
call you
not
made?
stated, yeah, I just kind of felt like that was the Marion County side, and that's where all the Marion County
Okay.
people were putting them, and I didn't see a problem with that. The Grundy people's on this side, on their side of the line, and I just felt like that was fair, so.
Yeah. We've got a lot of Marion County candidates come up
We do.
more than ever before.
That's
Any
right.
other comments for Chief? Yes?
I have a question. What about the coffee truck?
Yeah, so that's Ben Lane's. Ben Lane's compliant with he's paid his dues on that, and he actually moves. He goes from place to place. I think he goes down to the old local lot where Christian has a car show of some sort every Saturday. He's running with Christian and paying his dues down there, and we check him. He's pretty accurate on it, yeah.
Okay, and finally, Chief, I know you have to go, but under new business, there's resolution 04-26, which is the special police officer that you requested.
Yes, sir.
So-
I think you guys are aware of that. I think
If you'd address that.
Attorney Elliott had written an explanation and a resolution on that. Are you aware of what I'm talking about? So that's basically allowing me as a building inspector to be able to serve the municipal papers and put them into court and not have to have a police officer to serve the papers. I'm not asking to carry a weapon or be a police officer. I'm just asking to have the authority to be able to put them into court and follow testimony on what I'm doing.
Has the police department reviewed Sam's,
Can Gus come up here?
has the police department reviewed Sam's resolution?
I have not seen it.
Chief was aware of it. Rayline and I had talked about it. He understood the concept on it, and like I was telling Gus, they'd asked me this afternoon what that was, and I told him basically the same thing that I'm telling y'all. The only thing Gus was nervous on was the word police officer, which I don't care if you just tell me I'm special court powers, I could care less. So I just need something to be able to bring them into municipal court and give testimony on my cases.
Well, that's where special came from, and it was our attorney that prepared that resolution, so
Right.
that's
Yeah, I
probably
don't-
state language, but I feel comfortable, I agree with you. We've spoken to Chief Rayline from time to time, so I didn't see a problem. You're probably helping them by not requesting an
Do
officer.
you want to look at that right quick?
Yeah, I would ask that the police department, I hate to delay a vote on it or anything, but I think we need the police department's buy-off on the
Can
language.
he
that's
look at your resolution? Can somebody give him a copy so he can look at it since he's representing police?
Yeah, I don't mind looking at it.
I'd like to have y'all's blessings before we,
I appreciate it.
and I know you and Chief have talked about it a
Yeah,
lot,
no,
so,
I'm with you.
but if he hasn't read the specific language, I want to make sure they're good with it.
Well, if we can come back to that in the meantime, ordinance report?
Yeah.
So Travis talked about the signs, also the living in a commercial building. The second thing is it's maintenance season for your yard, mowing, all that good stuff. Noticed the Dollar Tree today is pretty growed up, so try to make contact this week with them. I don't know if they're corporate or private owner. Make contact with them, that's one that's noted. And the two code follow-ups with properties that's over on Winston Avenue, we've made pretty decent progress on them properties. So we've had a full house demo through Travis with that, and two of the yards have been worked on cleaning up too. So they're still working on those, but I think it's starting to look a little better off that way as well. And then if there's anything else, and like Travis was saying with the signs, if anybody has any questions, like me and Dean talked last month, just call and we'll print off any ordinance that we need to. If we need to figure out a way to present some stuff to show, during like right now is mowing season and all that, if we need to maybe advertise that some way to show and make everybody aware of it. But if not, if we can figure out a way for everybody to call and inquire about anything they want to before they do it, that'd make life easier on all of us, I think.
Anyone have any questions on the ordinance report?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Like at Dollar Tree, their outdoor lighting, that it isn't on. Does that come under your jurisdiction for safety? They've got 3 or 4 of the
Like their
poles.
parking lots?
Yes. And you come through, is that considered a safety hazard for people coming out of the store or going in? Or do you have?
Sure.
We're on the property maintenance, that'd fall more into the building code aspect. It'd fall under international property maintenance. I think we've adopted that property maintenance code through Monteagle.
Okay, and then the other thing, it looks like we talked a month or two ago about the fence at CBS, and that has been,
AJ took care of that. He
Yeah.
bird dogged them and they put up new
just
fence.
probably a week after we had discussed, and you may have already talked to them, but anyway, I
Yeah,
just
we
wanted to bring that
did,
up.
we talked about a week before that.
Yeah.
But they done redone the fence, and they've come back and redone all the faces, their dumpsters and all that. Rehung the, reset concrete, hung their doors up and everything.
Thank you.
And that was, like you mentioned, that was very timely.
Okay, back to the police report. Do you have a problem with that?
I don't have a
Special
problem with
police officer?
that. No, I think the
We
way.
didn't see anything, Travis and I, when we went over it, we didn't see anything that.
The way the attorney read it up was good, so we're fine with the police department.
I would just like to make a special note that if and when Travis ever leaves, and we have a new fire chief and new building inspector and stuff like that, that we revisit this language to make sure.
I believe that's on the form.
It's
It is,
it's
yeah.
worded.
It is, okay. So it's specific to you.
It expires with your employment.
That's right.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, I
All right.
didn't see it, so.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Parks and Rec, I don't have anything unless somebody does. All right, utility manager? John, anything?
No, lake's full.
Lake's full? That's good to know. But any questions of the utility manager? Okay. Street department, there was nothing to report. The Planning Commission, I've already made my comment about my action, and the meeting is June 2nd at 4 o'clock.
June 2nd or 3rd?
Is it the first,
June 2nd or 3rd?
what is it?
I thought you said 3rd earlier.
The first is a Monday, isn't it? Yeah, June 2nd. The first is a Monday.
Thank you.
June 2nd is a Tuesday.
I thought you said 3rd before.
Yeah, I wrote
Oh.
down the 3rd.
I apologize if I said it wrong. The meeting for the Planning Commission is June 2nd, the first Tuesday of the month.
Thank you.
No problem. Beautification Tree Board?
Go, girl.
Just a couple of things, pretty quick. We will have a mural on the fire hall, hopefully by the end of the summer. We are deciding tomorrow on exactly what's going to go on the fire hall. And the other thing is, I want to encourage everyone who might possibly want to do it or be willing to do it, is to have a float in the 4th of July parade. This is the 250th anniversary of the country, and we want to celebrate that. So we've got the Warner Museum is going to have several vehicles, including a loudspeaker that is going to play patriotic music at the beginning of the parade. So please encourage everyone you know, every business, churches, organizations, anyone to have a float. Any questions? That's so
Any questions from the
controversial.
Alderman? You know, these floats, some are very extravagant, some are very basic. If we have a vehicle towing a flatbed with some kind of sign or people on it or waving or whatever, that's one more float in the parade. And it is the 250th, and I won't be around for the next 250th, so let's try to do something this time. But thank you, that's important, isn't it? It should be fun.
Martha Ann, have you guys, where do you stand with the landscaping for what we ended up deciding with Dan Pate?
We are trying to figure out who is going to tell us where he can and cannot plant. You know, you have to get permission to dig.
Is that somebody up here's responsibility, or to do the 1-800-DIG, or?
Usually the contractor puts in a request for the locates.
So Dan's gonna do that?
So Dan needs to do that. So maybe Jessica or John can talk to Dan about that. He may have assumed we were going to do that. but I don't know.
Well, we can if we need to. can't we?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not shoving it off on anybody, but if we can do that, if the office of mayor needs to do that, then we just need to know who's gonna,
Yeah.
if you're waiting on it, then let's go ahead and get it.
Yeah, part of the problem is about half of the flags that he put out for the locations are gone. So if we know someone is going to be checking that, then we need to put the flags back up. But because of the grass needing to be mowed, the flags get taken down.
So I think when you call 1-800-DIG, they flag, paint where certain utilities are. So we would just need Dan to come in shortly after, we'll just have to
After
pay
that.
attention when that happens. He'll need to come in shortly after that and figure out how to somehow permanently mark, maybe not with flags or something else, but at least on a piece of paper, he can permanently mark, okay, I'm going 10 feet from this oak tree, or 5 feet from that lamppost or something, so he knows to stay out of the utility thing. So, Mayor, can we have somebody in the office call 1-800-DIG or whatever that number is? And
Yeah, I'll see if the town can do it, but if the town can do it, yeah, sure.
Okay,
They will
and
do
then-
water and sewer anyway, as our part of the utilities. What we're looking for is electric, fiber optic, et cetera. So,
Okay, and then if you'll just let us or Martha Ann know when they can get out there to do that, their rough schedule, so we can get Dan in quickly after that before either their flags or their paint goes away.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, thank
And
you.
then I've got to find out from Keith when he's going to get the rocks. So then Dean knows when to dig up the back area for us to finish the back area here. And I need to get Deb the information on buying the 2 benches that we were going to put back there. I'm going to get to it.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you very much, Martha. Grant, that was a great segue for you. Imagine money.
Yes, sir. So just, I wanted to bring everybody up to date. Let's see if that's in here.
It is.
Okay, let me use that then. I'm going to pass something out, the council people have it, but I want to explain kind of what we're doing with 2 of the initiatives. If you guys don't, I was going to make a big poster, but where that didn't happen, so if you guys will just pass those around, then I'll need to get them back from you. But on page 2 or 3, there is a depiction of a combination of the 2 initiatives that we've done. So if you all remember, we had a patio, I'm calling a kiosk, that we were going to do as one project. It was going to be over here in this empty space. We're going to have informational placards on it. And then the second initiative was a kind of a Monteagle sign and sculpture. And in talking with the artist and in talking with the committee that's working on the Imagine Monteagle Committee and Beautification and Tourism, we decided that the best thing to do was to incorporate both together. So the patio, which is roughly a 25-foot diameter stone patio, will have the sculpture that the artist has put together. The sculpture will go in the middle of this patio, and then we'll have informational plaques for historical things, potentially restaurants, trail maps, businesses, and some other things on the informational placards. Since we've combined these 2 projects into one, really kind of integrated them into one, they are still going to be separately funded. So the sculpture itself is going to be funded separately with a separate grant than what the patio and kiosk will be funded by, but they will mold together. We submitted the grant for the patio. What's today? We submitted the grant Thursday actually, and we'll find out in June whether we get the funds for the patio. I've talked to the folks at Mountain Goat Trail Alliance, because that is their property. They are on board with the conceptual design that you're looking at there. They want to They may want to scale it down just a little bit, the landscaping and stuff, not the artwork, but the landscaping and the sidewalks leading to it. They may want to scale that down, so we're gonna, the next month or so, I'm gonna go out there and we're gonna lay some flags out and show them exactly, take the board, the Mountain Goat Trail Alliance board out there so they can be comfortable, completely comfortable with it. What I would like to do is ask, I'd like to make a motion for the council to approve the conceptual design of this, which would include the patio that we've talked about several times, and I've shown you renderings. But now we have a rendering of it being, of the sculpture being integrated into it. So I'd like to make a motion for conceptual approval of this integrated concept design.
There's been a motion made. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Is there discussion on the motion?
Just so everybody knows, both of the grants that we are going after are, the two grants are no match grants, so they'll be 100% funded. There will be some cost out of the city's pocket for some engineering, which I'm going to ask about in just a second. The other cost would be labor and the possibility of getting a forklift when the sculpture is delivered, which will be much later in this calendar year. We'll just need some muscle and probably a forklift to get it off the flatbed and put it on its foundation. That will be done.
Well, is that it for the motion?
Yeah, this should answer anybody's question.
Any further discussion on the motion?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Is this something that's got to be listed on the depreciation schedule, that we got the asset thing that we have to pay depreciation on?
I don't know. I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
I see a long
Well, I
life
mean,
if it is.
It doesn't make any difference to me. I think we need to be aware of it if it is, and that would become an annual cost, and
I'll double check that, but
Okay.
honestly, I wouldn't think so. But I'll look into that. Good question. Any other questions about the motion that the grant is made and it's been seconded? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, the second piece to this is the foundation for the sculpture. And there are some design drawings in the packages that you can see that our artists put together. Those foundation drawings need to be stamped by an engineer for load bearing and some other things. So our artist has recommended that she talk to our city engineer to get the concrete design drawings stamped by an engineer. We are probably looking at less than $1,500, roughly $1,500 of time by the engineer, maybe less than that, depending on what type of discussion they end up having, and for him to stamp the drawings. So I'd like to make a motion for us to approve up to $1,500 for the engineer to work with the artist so that we can get the foundation for the statue or for the sculpture design drawing stamped.
All right, is the motion, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else, Fred?
Oh, I would like to, I don't know if this is the appropriate time, we want to wait till next month, but just as a note to the council, it got brought up last month that we are having, in July, we're doing Friday night bands. Is it Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Saturday night, every Saturday night in July, we're going to have a band at the park, Hannah Pickett Park.
Hannah Pickett.
Yes, as just a general summer celebration, and we're looking at roughly think the first band is 1,500. I think the other bands are going to be a little bit less, possibly even free some weekends. That is the sort of thing that would come out of the Imagine Monteagle Fund that we all talked about for this upcoming budget. So just wanted to give everybody a heads up that that's the kind of thing that we would be using the Imagine Monteagle Fund for. And then the process of that would be for at each month's meeting, if there is an item to be for any expenditures to come out of that fund, we would put forth the exact expenditure to the council for approval to come out of that budget. Is that the way it should work, Debbie?
Well, for the month of, the June meeting, you'd have the July schedule.
That's
for
correct.
expenditures.
That's correct.
And at that time, I think we could get that approved.
Yes.
Because the new budget will take effect anyway, so.
And we also need to make sure that it's available, that the field's available. Whatever night, we might have rented it out.
Well, let's
Can
check
we block
reserve.
it off for those Saturday nights?
Okay, well, if it's not already, sometimes they come in advance, so we'll check. But every Saturday or?
Every Saturday evening
In July.
Starting with the 4th.
That's 4th.
Is that right? 4th is a Saturday?
Yes.
Do we have a time on that?
6 to 9.
6 to 9.
I'll check on that.
Okay. That is all that I have.
All right, Alderman report, Dean?
Yes, sir, a couple of things. I'd like to say that whoever did the Monteagle Cemetery pavilion with the flags and all that, it looked very, very nice. The cemetery looked better than it's looked in, I can remember some Memorial Days in the past where the cemetery wasn't mowed prior to, and I thought it looked as it should, first class, and so the people that did that work should be thanked, and your effort looks great. So, and then we answered the back audit thing. Mayor, when we get into the budget thing, I've got several questions about the depreciation costs and stuff that we do just to discuss. Do you want me to wait till we deal with the budget to do that?
Yes, please.
Okay. And the police department. It's my understanding that our current policy is that we hire an officer, and there's no cost if the officer has not been to the academy. There's no cost for the academy. Years ago, they used to charge.
Yeah, we don't pay the academy, do we? No, that's right.
But our policy is the person that's going to the academy, we pay their salary full time. Is that a 6-week thing, or what's the length of that?
I think it's 6 weeks, but we just pay their base salary.
Yeah.
Because they'd be probation.
Yeah. But in the past, we've had recently one that graduated and resigned upon graduation. Can we not look and get with the chief and talk about what we used to do when you had to pay the academy? We required
To be a certain time to stay.
yes, and they could leave any time, but they would reimburse the city.
Right.
I think we did it on a 2-year thing, but it could be whatever the council wants to do. But back when we used to do it with the academy pay, it reduced whatever that cost was. It reduced by 1/24 every month,
Right.
and after 24 months, there was no obligation on that. And we had a couple that we paid that went to the academy, and they left before their 2 years was up, and they fulfilled the contract and did that.
That one that you're talking about, I believe he paid for the academy out of his GI Bill from the military.
Yeah, I was talking about the pay that the city, did we pay that officer?
To pay our payroll.
Oh, the payroll, yes,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
paid for the academy.
Yes, yeah. I understand that there's no cost to the city
Right.
for the academy, but there is a cost that we paid, is it 6-week course?
I think it's a little bit longer than that because unless it's a transition course where you're coming in from another police department or going back to get certified.
Okay, but if you're just a rookie that's never been in law enforcement, there's a longer period then?
Yeah, it's about, I think, 4.5 months roughly.
Okay.
When I came in, I transitioned, so it was just a 3-week.
But anyway, whatever, I think
We can look at that,
the
yeah.
council needs to get to the chief and review that, and I would expect that would be something that we could work out. And if it doesn't happen, it's not an issue. But you know, if we pay out several $1,000s and
Payroll.
for you to go to school, I think there's some obligation that the employee would have to the city.
Well, then, consensus or approval, I don't need a motion, but can we make that the workshop of June 1st?
I was going to suggest at some point in the near future that it be on
Let's
the
do that
workshop
June 1st. Make that an
agenda.
agenda item, police department issues.
And then the other thing I wanted to make sure we made the public aware of is in the budget, and I guess there's a 5% pay increase for employees on hourly, correct?
Yes.
And then it was a lesser amount on salary.
3.5.
Yeah, and then we can talk more about that on the budget. That's all I have.
Okay, Grant?
Just one, one question for Dean. What's the next step, Dean? We met with the veterans guy, the Veterans Memorial that you want to do over here.
Yes. He
Did you
sent
ever follow up back
Well, he
with
sent
him?
two drawings, Martha, that I was gone last week, but I got them.
You should have received them.
Well, I got them on email, and I'm assuming we've got to get together again and talk about the two different ones.
Yeah, I talked with the mayor and
Did we mark a workshop for that? the
June
15th?
9 is the next one after the one you just said.
No,
So that-
I had it in my calendar the 15th,
Oh, the 15th.
Okay.
Okay.
for the Veterans Park.
Yeah, for the for
Okay.
y'all's workshop.
Okay,
So y'all can
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
all right, thanks. And then Linda, was there at the last beautification tourism meeting, Misty or somebody was here for the market, the mountain market, Monteagle Mountain Market. They were going to give us a specific item that we might be able to purchase, and we were going to, I thought we were going
I
to
have
have
a
some.
report coming up.
That's under new business, Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, never mind.
We ran out of time and did not get to that at the beautification tourism meeting. So,
So you're going to bring that up under the new business piece?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm done, thank you.
Okay, Dan, anything?
Yeah, I'd like to say that I appreciate the support of the community. I've had a little bit of backlash in the last few months, and I'm sorry about that. But what is, and I'm not going to change my opinion on things that are severely important to me. And I will deal with controversies as they arise. But I want to thank the community at large has reached out to me personally, and I thank you for that. I am going to do what I said I'd do when I ran for office of the council member for the city of Monteagle, and that's try to leave things better than I found it. So that's where I lie, and that's where I will continue to operate, and thank you for your support.
Okay. Going to old business. I'll accept a motion to accept on second reading ordinance 4-26, the budget amendment for the beautification committee.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? Roll call. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I'll accept on a motion on second reading of ordinance 5-26, which was the grant review. Grant meaning money, not meaning Mr. Fletcher.
Can you remind me what that is? I'm sorry.
Yes, that happens to be, this is beautification. Oh, right now, tree grant revenue awarded to the town and to provide funding to the general fund for grant expenditures such as but not limited to beautification and landscaping.
I make a motion we accept the ordinance 5-26.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Is there discussion on the motion?
Sorry, your explanation didn't.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
didn't quite
That
do
was
it.
in the packet. I was just reading from the
I'm
ordinance.
sorry, I don't have the packet, that part of the packet with me.
All right.
This is something that was already, is this for the, what's the 5,006?
That's the 5638.
Do we recall what this was for? Was this part of the plantings?
Probably part of the tree grant, wasn't it?
Well,
If this is the second reading, it would be the same thing as the first, wouldn't it?
It wasn't part of the tree board, was it?
This says it was to recognize the tree grant revenue awarded to the town and to provide funding to the general fund for grant expenditures, such as beautification and landscaping.
Why do I not remember that?
We must have approved it on first reading sometime.
Well, that's what Debbie just reminded me of. So, do you have 4-26?
One you just did?
Yes.
It says last month at the April 27th meeting, we had first reading of ordinance 426 budget amendment. Is what.
Yeah, and that, I have them both. 426 was the 12,000. The purpose of the amendment is to provide general fund for the beautification and landscaping around the town. That was 12,000. But then I think the 5638 was the balance from Nate's tree work, either at the fire department or the sod or something around there. But as has been pointed out, we approved it on the first reading.
Okay, I don't have any other, if that's what it's referring to, I don't have any other.
All right, any other discussion on that motion? All those in favor of approving on second reading ordinance 5-26, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, under new business, resolution 4-26, the special police officer resolution that we spoke to Travis about. I'll accept a motion to accept that resolution.
I'll make a motion on 4-26.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The resolution is passed. Okay, first reading of budget 26-27. A motion to accept on first reading.
Do we want to talk about that a little bit before we get a motion, or?
No, we discussed the motion, and then you
Okay.
can discuss whatever it is.
I'll make a
This gets it on
motion
the
we
floor.
accept on first reading budget 26-27.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, now discussion on the motion.
Yes, the totality of the general fund we have copies of that, and I'm assuming, has that been put on the website for the public to see, or?
No.
Okay.
We will do that now. We do that after the first reading and before the public hearing.
Okay. And then, when it comes, my main concern is on the utility budget. It is all this depreciation costs that we're required to fund.
Yes.
And a couple of things on that. It is, when we met in workshop with the Stephanie, what's her official title?
She's a CPA.
Okay.
Our CPA.
We were looking at a huge deficit on that we were going to have to fund, and it was going to, if we done that, what the numbers she used in the beginning, it was going to be like a $600,000 loss projected. Was that the? Anyway, it's going to be a 32% increase in utility rates. Wasn't that the approximate amount that
Yes.
she informed us that budget would require? And that's in addition to remind the public that July 1st, we will have a slight rate increase, residential and commercial. And we did that when we did the rate study last year.
25.
Yes, and there was an increase in 25, and there's an increase in 26, and that those increases are already in place before she reviewed the utility budget. And the main thing in the utility budget is this depreciation.
And interest.
Yeah.
Let me just mention this for review for the aldermen and so that the public is aware. Two of the biggest items in the enterprise fund, and the enterprise fund is a separate fund that does water and sewer only. The two biggest items were depreciation and interest. So ironically, as you do more work, you depreciate the new work that you've done, and you probably have some kind of interest charge either from grant or bond or some loan or something, so that your interest expenses increase as well. That's what Dean is addressing, and we have to address it. I understand by state law, we have to fund depreciation in the enterprise fund. So as we do things, and that includes everything. That's the water plant, the sewer plant, the vehicles, the pumps, the whatever machinery we have, et cetera, et cetera. So all of that is one big depreciation number. Now, there are different schedules for depreciation. The plants might go up to 50 years. And I'm saying these are just general parameters. I don't know the specifics, but plants may go longer, obviously, than an automobile. An automobile may go longer than a pump. And there are schedules of depreciation for each item that the account prepares for our budget. So I don't want to philosophize and get into finance 101, but that's sum and substance of what Dean is addressing and why it's such a big item. Now, as we do other work, and believe me, we don't wake up and say, let's do some more work on the enterprise fund. We're either addressing TDAC issues or outdated equipment. The water plant is approximately 50 years old. The sewer plant is approximately 15 years old. A lot of it is original equipment. As pumps and machinery and other things fail, we have to replace them. You don't want a sewer pump that does not pump. I mean, that's just sum and substance of it. So there will be work that's ongoing. It always is ongoing. It has been ongoing. There was some controversy as to whether or not we had funded depreciation in prior administrations. I think we have. I don't know the exact numbers, but whatever it is, in this time period, we've caught up and we seem to be on track on our depreciation schedule. So that's sum and substance of what Dean was talking about, and I review it for the aldermen. Please continue your comments because it's an important budget.
Yeah, and I think, it's hard for utility customers, and everybody is paying this, the ones in the city and the ones outside the city. And it's, to me, I have a lot of people say, I'm on a limited budget. I can't afford, I get a $125 water and sewer bill if they live on the sewer, and they may have had a spouse pass and their income is cut in half. And these rate increases are major problems in people's budget. And even on the commercial side, I don't know what our largest utility customers pay, but I would imagine it's probably in excess of $5,000 or $6,000 a month, isn't it, Debbie, on that? And if you get hit with a 30% increase, that's sizable. But every utility that I'm aware of, if it's a nonprofit governmental utility, is having the same problems. And the city of Manchester, I heard on the news, the city council had applied for $20 million because they're under a moratorium with TDAC and stuff. And so, of course, they're a much larger utility, but they're going to have a $20 million depreciation to add in.
That's right.
And there's been several on the national news, small utilities. One in the Nashville area, they were saying they were going to have to double their utility rates in order to fund the depreciation. And I think it's very important that the utility customers are understanding, and we've got a fund balance in the utility. Debbie, what would the approximate fund balance be in the utility because of that capital asset thing?
It's in the budget.
It's going to be in excess of of how much? Probably $1 million?
At least.
Yeah, probably $2 million.
Probably.
And so we got $2 million in the bank and we're gonna jack your rates up. And a lot of people, that doesn't make any sense. But if you don't have the money to pay it, and if you do, in the business world, depreciation is our friend. When we buy equipment or our buildings, we depreciate those off, and it's kind of it's considered in our
Write-off.
yeah, and so our IRS payment will be less because we have built a building or bought equipment or whatever. But when it's governmental, you don't realize any of that. You are just paying. If the utility buys a pickup truck, I think vehicles are on a 5-year depreciation schedule.
I think so.
And like the sewer plant, I think is a 30 or 40 years.
40. I think they pushed out to 40.
Yeah.
But let me address two of those points. Dean is correct, and the problem with water sewer, you turn your faucet on, you get water, but you don't see the water pipes, and you don't see the sewer line, you don't see all of the things that bring you those things. But when you have to pay for these things, we're not the only ones. Deckard, I understand, TDEC came in and said, here's your new water rates, you have to do this work. Now, they didn't take over the water company for the utility, but they said, this is what you have to do. So you could be under orders and all that. We're not going to deal with that right now tonight, but it's an ongoing situation and an expense that we just have to have, just like all the other cities and towns in the country, probably.
So,
did you have, David or Martha, did you have your hand up? Okay.
So just real quick to bounce off, I agree with Dean and what he's saying, but I want everybody to know that we are not suggesting a 30% rate increase. That was a suggestion by an outside consultant that looked at our capitalization, our capitalized rate and our projects and everything like that. And that was a recommendation that they gave to us. And that would have to go before the city council and other things before anything like that happened. And I don't think it's going to get a lot of support from that aspect. So I want to make sure everybody knows that we're not increasing your rates by 30%. It got put on the table by a consultant, and we are working other ways to reduce our capitalization, our capitalized projects, in order to avoid having that type of rate, and also avoid having the state come in and dictate rates on our behalf. So I just want to, he is right in everything that he's saying, but that was a suggestion by a consultant. It's not our intent, and that was not our idea to do that. The increase that we're looking at in July, I think, is a 4%, 5%, 3%. It's pretty minimal, and again, that was voted on a year and a half ago. So the sky's not falling yet.
Let me add to this. The rate study was done on a projected capital plan of maybe 3 to 5 years. But to do the work that we wanted to do that first year, it came in as a revised rate, but it didn't matter, at 20% increase. But let's put that aside. Dean said that we had cash. Well, that's true. And that's great, because when you get a grant, not all grants are 100%. So if you're taking X percent of a $2 million grant, that's made up from the cash that we have. So it's not that it's just sitting around or we're not using it or we don't know what's what. There's a lot of rules, regulations, guidelines, and everything else to state grants, whether it's the state revolving fund, whether it's a bond issue, whether it's any other funding that the state offers. Some of it is a match, and therefore we have to meet that match, whether it's 5% or 20%. Not all of them, and probably not any of them, are 100% with zero match. So these are all issues that are day-to-day that we will be dealing with. We're right, we didn't want a 20% increase on rates, we didn't want a 30%. I don't like increases at all, but we have expenses, and we have to meet those expenses. And we have to also fund our depreciation and interest accounts. So there's some things that we never see that are just accounting things that we have to provide for. So it's a complex issue, but these are all things that the alderman and I have been considering over the past several months.
All right, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Dean, on that. Just wanted to make.
No, that's fine.
clear.
I said we needed to discuss this stuff, and I think that's what we need to do. And we need to make the customers who pay the bills aware of what they're paying now and what potentially they're going to be paying. And we are required by law to submit a balanced budget through the comptroller's office.
Yes.
Before June 30th. I think 10 days before June 30th is the rule on that, or 14 days or something. There's a timeline on that for the comptroller to review it, and if they want to question it, they have an option to do that.
It's after June 30th.
Maybe 10 days, yeah, okay. But anyway, they review and they have to approve. We can't just send a piece of paper down there and says we've got a balanced budget. We cannot do that.
Well, let me interrupt there. I get an email from the comptroller telling me that the town budget has been approved by the comptroller's office. So it's not just a paper exercise, as Dean is outlining. They really get back to you and say it's approved or not approved.
Now, this year for 26-27, starting July the 1st, we are dealing tonight with a budget on the utility water and sewer fund. Says statement of proposed operations, July 1st of 2026 to June 30th of 2027. And on the revenue side, we're projecting $2,032,282 for the income for operating fund for water and sewer. And then we have to balance that out on expenditures. We have to show that your debt service and stuff, the payments or whatever they are. But anyway, we have to have a balanced budget, and we have to fund depreciation, and that's on a sliding scale, and you need to be made aware of that. And I think on the water and sewer fund, it says provision for depreciation for this year is $125,000 in one thing on water transmission, and then you would have the sewer, which is a bigger one, and I'm not going to get into all of that. It's actually $375,000 is the amount on the sewer side that we have to fund. So we're what, $500,000 it is a depreciation fund that we're going to take out of the $2 million. And so if we don't meet this budget, we're balanced in what we're talking about tonight. But if we don't stay, if our revenues aren't what we're projecting and our expenditures have to be that or less, then what I'm trying to make the public aware of is potentially, and it's all this way every year, you're looking at perhaps in March or April or something next year that we're going to see that we're in trouble, and that our expenditures are much higher than our revenues. And the law is you cannot have two consecutive years of a loss without a mandatory
rate adjustment.
Yeah, to balance that out. Yes. And this past year, we were projected to have a small deficit this year, wasn't it?
It was like $40,000.
Yeah, I was going to say $40,000 or $50,000. But it doesn't. They don't care what the amount is. That starts the problem. So this year is going to be, a big thing. And in the past, we say, oh, we got a grant for $1 million. Well, that's fine and that's great. But when you depreciate that out, depending on what it is, if it's a pump station or whatever, and it's 10 years, then you've got to fund that. So there is a cost, and we never talk about depreciation costs. In a year and a half, we have internally at workshops and city meetings, and we're aware of it, but I do not think that a lot of the customers that are paying the bill understand we have no control over this $500,000 that we're going to have to be required to put in depreciation adjustments. That's just the law. And you have a lot of fixed costs, your payroll costs and utility costs, chemicals, our payment. I think we owe $1 million something or $2 million on debt on utility. I think the city will wipe the city's debt out this year. I think it's $50,000 plus a little interest, and there won't be any debt. And so I think we need to spend some time looking at things to help keep the cost down as much as we can, but the people that cannot afford what the bills are getting now, some utilities, electric and stuff, you see where they set up things where people can have conservation studies done. Most of it's electric. I don't see anything. I'm don't have anything with another utility. But like on electric, TVA will come out and do an energy audit. Well, perhaps we need to look and check with TAUD and see if there's audits that we can offer, and if we need to have somebody come to your home and look and see what, and we can print out your billing over the last 12 months and show you month by month increases and when your high points are, and maybe do some things, recommend you change plumbing fixtures or whatever the issue is. But I have several elderly, and not all of them are elderly, saying they struggle to pay their water and sewer bill now. And potentially, and it is going up July the 1st, it's I think 2 or 3% on residential, it's a sliding scale. And if they can't, if they're struggling now, and they're struggling with everything, gasoline and food and everything else, they're going to have to do without something to pay their water and sewer, or just their water bill. And I think we need to be proactive in trying to offer something to help these people. And if it's maybe like on county property tax, the state gives you an exemption if you're a certain age and you're disabled or something. I think they give you a credit or something. I'm a senior citizen, but I don't have that. But anyway, we need to explore options to help people in need. If you're if you're a middle income and you can pay your bills, you're blessed. But for there's some people that can't.
Well, if you want to make this a workshop issue, we could do it the 8th. And start that research.
I think, it's whatever the council wants to do, but I think...
It's a valid point. I'm not sure, though, that TDEC would allow water credits.
Well, I'm not either, but I think we need to ask.
We ask, and look, of course, I'm not saying not to. All I'm saying is my preliminary investigation when I was on water adjustment boards in the old days, they have since eliminated those adjustment boards for that very reason.
Yeah.
The water bill is the water bill, and that's that. Even some folks in the comptroller's office feels that way, which I personally don't agree with. But if we can find a way to aid these people in need, then we should at least start looking.
And if it's still that way, I think we need to talk to our legislators and see that laws are changed and start the process instead of just saying there's nothing we can do, people. Pay your bill or we're going to cut it off. And I think that's not what we should be doing, and that we should do more. But just be aware that this time next year, you're probably going to be looking at another mandated rate increase to satisfy the state law.
Okay. Is there anything else on the budget?
On the general fund, it's the same thing, but I think we've got $1 million something bucks that we have to. We're required by law to have is it 6 months operating, Mayor, or a year?
That's what it used to be, yes.
Yeah, that we're required to hold in fund balances. So we, and that budget is $2 million something for general fund. So I think it's 6 months. So we'd be required to have a minimum of $1 million in reserve in case of catastrophic event of a downturn in the economy or loss of revenues for whatever reason. And we are very fortunate that we have the revenues that we have on the general fund side, and sales tax is is the primary driver, but we also have the hotel motel occupancy tax and other revenues. Even like building permits is $80-something thousand projected this year. Well, that's fine if we have that, but right now, if the economy levels off and we only get $25,000 in permits, then we've got to make that up, either in a cut or transferred from somewhere else. So I cannot emphasize enough and say the right words to make the citizens and the customers of Monteagle Utility understand what we're facing in the coming fiscal year. If you have viewpoints you want to share with the council, you need to do that. Or if you hear from your neighbor at the post office that we're going to jack your rates up, we may. So I guess, Mayor, I need to get off that.
Well, it's an ongoing study, and we had said even when we got the first rate study, that we would need to review, well, really both funds, the general fund and the enterprise fund, as an ongoing obligation of just good stewardship. So we will be working on that. I can set up something if we get response. The legislature's been busy with redistricting. I've reached out to them several times, but as soon as I can, I'll get an answer from TAUD and the legislators and see what we can come up with.
And to give you one more thing, and I promise I'll try to hush. I think we projected in this budget that, and y'all hear me harp every month about the rest area. And one of the reasons that I harp about it is if they were open, they would be, in 2024, Debbie, they were approximately a $52,000 customer.
50-something thousand.
Yeah. And so today, I would guess that to be, after July 1st, based on the same consumption, they would be a $60,000, $65,000 customer in a year. Well, that's 10% of what the CPA projected that our loss was going to be for this coming year. And so, to me, that's an important customer to lose. And I keep hearing through the grapevine that they can't figure out how to fix a water leak down there. But to my knowledge, we have no official notification from TDOT about why that rest area is closed. Is that correct?
Well, no, because just recently, as recent as last week, I heard from the chief man at Chattanooga, Region 2 for TDOT, that they're doing a statewide study, and he basically referred me to Nashville, because they're not just looking at our rest areas, they're looking at all of them, supposedly statewide, is what he was told, and he's passing that on to me. So if it's statewide, that means, according to him, from what he understands, they may close some, they may refurbish some, they may reopen some, but the state is studying it, and I told him nicely 2 points. They've been studying it for over a year and a half, 2 years probably, number one. And number two, it's the only rest area from the lake to the other side of Nashville, unless you get off the exit. So they really need to consider the Monteagle rest areas.
And if they don't come on as a customer by July 1st, you can, I'm telling you, will be $60,000 to $70,000 loss on that one customer. And
that's why we keep chasing them. But you know, who do you get an answer from? You call the governor? I don't know, but we'll keep chasing them.
It may be helpful if, whenever we communicate with them, with TDOT on the rest area, there's also a safety issue, maybe something from a letter from the fire department or something, or a call from Travis to somebody at TDOT saying, hey, this is not just we want this thing open again, this is a safety issue. So I think if we throw safety at them, it may get somebody else's attention. I may be wrong, but that's worth a try to have Travis reaching out to them.
Okay.
Two things I want to mention about the budget.
Oh, wait, Dean, are you done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Grant?
You sure?
Yes, sir. Don't let me say anything else.
Dean's not allowed to talk anymore. I make a motion that.
All in favor?
So I was just two things on the. There were two budgets that were sent to us. One budget was sent right before Stephanie left, and everybody was supposed to review it and give her comments and stuff. You've got the newest budget in front of you, so I want everybody to know that. But one of the things that I asked Stephanie to change, and I asked you guys, the rest of you, to chime in to make sure I was correct on this. I don't know if she heard back from anybody else, but I removed the $30,000 for the police vehicle that was in the 26-27 budget on the capital replacement or capital asset replacement fund. I saw it in there, and I remember us talking about the fact that we were not going to be buying another police vehicle this year, and that was based on memories. I wanted to make sure that everybody understood that that got removed, and everybody's okay with that, because I didn't mean to make a singular decision. I threw it out there, and then we never heard back from anybody.
I've read your email, and I didn't oppose it, so.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody's good with that. And then the other thing too is I caught a couple things on we talked about this, the Imagine Monteagle showed up twice. There was one in beautification, one in tourism and something. So we got that sorted out in this new budget so that there is only a single budget for beautification, tourism, and Imagine Monteagle all wrapped into one. And we agreed on a final fund for that. We cut it back from what the original request was because we were struggling with our balanced budget. So just want to make sure everybody was aware of that. It was sent through some discussion.
Anything else? Huh?
We need a roll call vote
On what?
on the first reading of the budget.
Oh, yeah. What's your name? Grant. Any other comments?
No.
Dan, anything?
I have no comments.
Okay. Therefore, we have a motion to accept on first reading the budget of 26-27. I think we've had enough discussion. All those in favor say aye. Oh, I'm sorry, roll call vote, roll call vote.
Dean,
Pass.
Grant,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Okay.
Hang on, it's got to go back to him. He
You got it
passed.
back to me.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yes.
Yes. We voted yes.
Do what?
I voted yes.
Yeah. He said aye, but I guess he wanted yes recorded, I don't know. There'll be a public hearing, is that right?
Yes.
And a second reading?
Yes.
Okay, in June. Okay, I'll accept a motion to accept on first reading the personnel policy, ordinance 1026.
I'll make a motion to accept the personnel policy on first reading.
Thank you, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's approved on first reading. Final item on new business, Chamber of Commerce.
What about
What about
the
Waffle House?
Waffle House lift
Oh, the
station?
Waffle House comes
Oh, that's under negotiation and in the process. When I have documents, then I'll need to submit them for approval. They're working on land acquisition, easements, back and forth. You saw the appraisals. They're just working on that total concept, but it's not ready yet.
Okay, now refresh my memory on Waffle House lift station. Is that primarily because Hampton Inn is going to come in and their line is got to go, they're going to bore under, and what's the status of that? Last month you told us T-Dot or T-Deck or somebody.
The developer has to work on that to cross under the highway and tie into the sewer lines. Yes, it's Waffle House is part of Hampton Inn and their expansion as well as some existing, because we're just about at peak to carry the loads that we have now.
And that's a $2 million project.
Approximately, yes. We haven't put it out to bid. We're
Right, but it's estimated to be.
estimated right now.
And that is something that will be an additional cost to pay depreciation on.
Yep, and interest depending on how we finance it. Okay, so I'm sorry, Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, I just got this in. We didn't have it earlier because our printer was dealing with a medical issue.
That's all right.
So,
What do we have?
anyway, just, you can pass that around.
Things that new banners
Okay.
for Mount Monteagle.
Oh, this is just the banner that you want? Is that what we're looking at?
There's two.
It's two different banners.
It's two different banners.
Yeah, this one is across the street.
There's usually one over here where he's talking about where the kiosk is going, right? In the past, it's where,
The quote is on the back.
So did you see it, Dan? Dan, did you see it?
Looking at it, yeah.
Oh.
And has the chamber approved the language and everything on that?
Well, they haven't, but they left it to me. How's that?
Okay, let's hurry and print.
Hold on. Okay. On Monday evening, May 18th, there was a committee meeting held regarding needs, responsibilities, and concerns for the Monteagle Mountain Market that is to be held on July 25th and 26th at Hannah Pickett Park. Those in attendance representing the South Cumberland Plateau Chamber of Commerce were Misty Borst, Executive Director, Andy Bagenstas, Vice President, Ed Russell, and Scott Pilkington. In addition, Beth Reiner, who is recruiting for the newly added authors tent, and Linda Burkhart, liaison. That's me. Thus far, it has been established that there are 43 vendors as of this morning, 5 food trucks, and 12 authors. And I do have access to the vendor list, but I didn't because it hasn't been updated to add these next vendors. So we believe the coffee and cars will be available on Saturday morning to host in the library senior citizens parking lot on that Saturday. There is confirmation of the military museum to provide a military vehicle during the 2-day event, which will be parked in a place where kids and adults can enjoy and learn about its importance for the military. I have 3 past years of how parking and vendor placement was in Hannah Pickett Park. We will be working on a layout for this year. Included in this is contacting the owners of the Du Bois to find out if the area that they now own can be used for parking. If there is a positive response, then we need to know who can be responsible for the mowing. There is a need for a large dumpster, and wanting to know if the city can provide this at no charge. Water and electricity is currently at no charge to the market. While the mock-up of the large banner to be placed at the corner of Main Street and Highway 41, I said is not available, it is now available, just a few minutes ago. The estimate remains at what is currently quoted, $1,455 for 2 or $727.50 for each. And one of the reasons we went back and redesigned, or some of us went back and redesigned, was because there was way too much content. And we wanted to make, because you can only read so much as you're driving by. Second of all, we wanted to make the banners reusable. There will be no radio advertising this year because it's cost prohibitive. However, press releases have been sent to the local newspapers. They should start appearing this Friday. We are still seeking vendors. The cornbread vendor list was provided to the chamber. If there are other lists available, we hope they can be shared as we are getting down to crunch time. Tents are expensive and contributed to the high cost of the market last year. However, while quotes are still being sought, the tents might prove to still be too expensive. If anyone has suggestions or thoughts, please come forward. Or if you have a tent, let us know. At this time, it is believed that music will be provided by Imagine Monteagle/Tourism on Saturday night. We are waiting for an official commitment, including the name of the band. In addition, we are asking for volunteers. Volunteers should be available throughout the communities, chamber members, not-profit organizations, churches. How can we make this a Plateau Mountain community event? Working together can make this successful. While maybe not a money-making event this year, let's see what all of us can do to keep the costs down and the momentum up. I'm happy to take questions, although I might have to come back with the answers, and I am aware there is a workshop on this next Monday, June 1, which I could possibly do, but we were kind of in a rush because the holiday was coming up and I left for Indy 500, sorry.
Alderman, any questions or comments?
So you've got, there's 43 currently, there's 43 vendors that have accepted
as of this morning.
as of this morning. Do you have a number in mind for a goal, and how does that compare to previous years?
Oh, well, previous years was 115 to 100, 110 to 130. And last year there were only maybe 65? 65.
Okay. And the tents, if I remember correctly, I remember last year where that whole area
And they
was
will
covered.
not be there.
Almost all of the vendors have their own tents that they usually bring and set up. Is that not true?
That's not true.
Okay.
But some do have them.
Well, if I could comment on that, the big tent.
The
over
big
there
tent on
was
the
for-
corner.
Was for eating as well as some displays of vendors, wasn't it? Because I ate under that tent.
Yes, but it won't be there this year.
It will not.
If there is one, there was 3 tents last year. There was talk of only doing 2 tents this year. There will not be one on the corner like it
Where will
was
the 2
last year.
tents be?
Well, we haven't done the layout. yet.
Okay, that's right. I'm sorry, Greg.
No, that's okay. And then, so in your...
Parking is number 1 issue. We
Right,
have that.
which makes me wonder about trying to tie this. I understand you're trying to tie it in with the coffee and cars and all, but that takes up a good deal of the parking spaces that we would normally have over there.
We have thought that too. Coffee and cars would only be there for the first couple of hours of the morning.
Okay. Again, this is y'all's thing to do, so just consider.
They'll be in and out of here basically.
The other thing is in your text here, you say that it's 1455, but the quote that we've got here from A1 Marketing is 3,149.
Well, because I knew you weren't going to do all the signs.
So what is? Could you
So I
explain to me
took the largest sign. I
On the
took
invoice, can you just
largest.
explain the difference between the banner and the coroplast signs?
Because they're smaller. And
Those
they're
are-
hung in different places. I know where the one large one goes, which is out here on the corner. I'm not sure where the rest of them go, but they go through 9 communities.
So you all are asking for the 1440 for
I
us?
am not
Or
asking for the 14. I gave you the 1440, but I also said, or 700 and whatever for $727.50 for one.
Okay, so you're asking for either 1 or 2?
I'm asking for either 1 or 2 and a dumpster. I don't know didn't know the price of a dumpster. I didn't even know where to ask for the price of a dumpster, so.
Well, the 30-yard was what, 250, 265?
Has Richardson been contacted about a dumpster?
Well, they did one for Sparkle Week, and I was trying to remember that. It was a 30-yard dumpster for, wasn't it 2 something?
Well, by the time you fill it up, though, they charge you that $750.
You gotta pay the tipping fee
Yeah.
at the landfill,
The total
don't you?
was $740.
To bring a dumpster in for 2 days?
Yeah.
Well, the large expense is when they haul it to the landfill,
Yeah.
the tipping fee.
We'll get a quote.
Okay.
And that's based on yardage.
So,
Well, we have to do either that or large.
Did you always
Trash
have a
cans.
dumpster?
What?
Was there always a dumpster?
There was, was there? Because I was
Where
told
was
that
it?
whatever they had last year wasn't big enough. I don't know what they had last year.
Okay.
I went, but I did not look for trash. Sorry.
In the past, other communities have gotten Grundy County to bring one of their, what I call roll-off dumpsters, to other events, and I've been told that you can even, a private individual can pay for one, and they will bring it, because I asked about one sitting at one of the commissioners' yard one time, and took a picture of it, and I called out there, and they told me that if you want one, back then I think it's $250 or something. That's been several years ago. So we might want to check with Grundy County Mayor and see if that option is available since it's election year.
And I can do that. And yes, I can,
And if they say no, then ask Marion County.
that's another idea. And I have a feeling I'll get further with Grandview County.
So, I will make a motion that the city, for the city to pay the $1,455 for the two signs.
That's the 2 by 24.
The 2 by
20.
20 by 2, but yeah, the 20 by 2s. And you're getting 3 of those, right?
2.
2. Oh, no, 3.
3. Yeah.
So then it'd be-
The quote
yes.
says 3, your thing says 2, so it's.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so 3 of them at $485 a piece.
Right.
Okay, so $1,455. Yeah, I'd make a motion that the council approve that expenditure. This will be out of the 2026 budget, and this can come out of the Imagine Monteagle allocated budget, since this is a tourist item.
Is there a second to the motion? I'll second it. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I want you all to note that we got Monteagle Mountain Market, Monteagle back in there.
I didn't want to say that on camera, but thank you for doing that.
I would make a motion that if necessary, we fund the dumpster fee and get that taken care of, not have to deal with that and left that unattended. If the county refuses to help us and turn it back on us and not help us at all, or even consider helping us at all, that we won't cancel the whole thing because of the county.
So if you could find that out, if they will do that before the June meeting, then we can vote on that at the June meeting.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion.
If that, okay.
I'll try to have that information by June 1.
Thank you. The only question I have is the piece from the military museum. Are they going to have personnel?
Yes, yes. Oh, they would not come.
I was going to say, it was climbing around.
He'll be here.
Yes.
Can I ask you another, hang on a second, question on the, when would these signs be printed? And when would we get the invoice? Let me ask you another question. Can we get the invoice in July?
Yes.
Okay, that's the
But
right
we
answer.
need to get them printed as soon as we can.
Okay, see if Aaron will, if you end up using Big A, just see if he can hold the invoice till July.
I'm sure he'll be more than happy to.
Thank
He
you.
happens to like the design that he sent better than the other ones. So.
Here's your phone.
Thank
Oh,
you.
my phone.
Thank you for
all that
bringing
you've
this
done on
forward,
project.
and I hope the chamber is pleased with our participation.
They are.
Are these signs or banners that we just?
Okay.
Some of them are signs.
I'll accept the
some of
motion
them
to
are
adjourn.
banners.
Make a motion to adjourn. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.